Yo, welcome to Hot Takes with Cheddar Chaz. There's no hand holding. We do with facts and emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification if you haven't already. Shout out to Miller Lite, DraftKings, and Topo Chico. You guys should support them because they support us. Today would be a more opinionated show than typically. I'm not coming to you guys with a lot of inside information here, but I see a lot of the off-season narratives starting to run crazy. I addressed some of them on the last episode, as far as the lies that you're being told during this off season. And of course, that doesn't mean that people, are going to stop lying or you're going to take, my word for it, because why should you, right? But there's some other things that have been coming out recently. Of course, you got workout footage, you got interviews, you got things that are being put out there and leaked to the media to kind of, counter certain narratives. Some things are just some things just happen to be making their way out there. So I want to discuss whether some of those things actually matter or not. If some of those things are actually relevant to the Pelicans' success or not. So I want to start off hot, pause. And I want to talk about the Zion sprinting at the Saints facility thing. Personally, I don't think it matters, man. I do not think it matters. And the reason I don't think it matters is because Zion has only really ever come into camp out of shape maybe twice. Now, mind you, that's 2 out of 4 years. Like that's it's not good at all, right? But you have the rookie season where he, of course, he tore his meniscus. He had a lot of off the court responsibilities, being the number one pick, having that LeBron type hype associated with him. And so, he kind of came into camp out of shape. But during the preseason, this dude looked like a man amongst boys, right? Then, he got the Stan Van Gundy year. He just looked totally out of shape. But that's probably when you saw one of the best versions of Zion that we've seen in New Orleans so far. He just looked incredible offensively, defensively. Left a lot to be desired. You have the broken foot year. We all know he wasn't able to work out with, because of that. Then you had this past season where he came into camp in phenomenal shape by some of the things I was hearing, like with him in like the scrimmages and all this stuff. It was just, it was brutal. Like he was dominant, like in the team scrimmages, and he's playing against, his teammates. He wasn't playing against, coaches or nothing like that, playing against his teammates. But the reason why I say that's not him sprinting isn't as significant is because, bro, I don't really care if he comes into camp in phenomenal shape. I care what happens after he gets hurt, after he runs into some resistance. When he has an obstacle, how will he respond to that? Will he respond how he responded in the past? And if he does, then it doesn't matter how much into shape he comes, into camp this year. Maybe, it matters a little bit because he gives himself more room for error in the event that an injury does occur. But I don't think it really matters, man. What I think does matter is some of the things that we aren't seeing. Is he committed to doing that band work like he alluded to? Is he working with Coach Jasper again this offseason? Is he adding to his offensive arsenal? Will he be more committed to playing defense right off the bat? You know what I'm saying? Is he establishing a rapport with his teammates to where, there's chemistry and it isn't as much of a figuring it out process going to this season? Some things will be just natural to these guys. In my opinion, I think that's much more significant than him doing sprints and motherfucking jumping jacks and all that. That's cool. That's incredible. But, it's going into year 5 or something like that. So what at this point? All right, I expect you to be in shape. Can you stay on the court? Are you doing what it takes to stay on the court? Or in the event that you have a freak injury, are you doing what it takes to come back from said injury? Okay, next thing, we saw some footage come out with Trey working out, looking phenomenal, looking explosive, doing his thing. I don't think that footage matters, man. I really don't think that means anything, in my opinion. And of course, these, again, some things that we may not be seeing. I would like to see, Trey's offensive independence, him creating more off the dribble, him moving without the ball, some things, with him defensively, him adding strength, building strength. And, one of the biggest things that I think is very important is his relationship with Willie Green and the coaching staff. I would like to see Willie Green and the coaching staff have more of a open mind and a more balanced approach to Trey's rotation minutes, because seemingly, over the last couple of years, he's had a really quick trigger, no pun intended, when it comes to Trey. And he'll, for any minor infraction, Trey's leaving the game. Personally, I think Trey has the second highest ceiling on this team, and I don't think you can afford to do that, especially given all the misses we've had in the lottery. I think when you hit on a guy like Trey, I think you have to give him every opportunity to succeed, and I think a lot of that starts with his offensive independence, his rebounding, his commitment to defense. So some of the things we've seen so far this offseason, they're cool, but I still would like to see more of him, his independence, him creating more rebounding. Maybe some stuff we're not going to be privy to, because guys aren't going to film their entire workouts. That rarely happens anymore, right? I mean, certain people like Russell Westbrook, guys like that used to do that, CJ McCollum to a degree, but you don't see that as much anymore. Another thing, Dyson's ability to finish and facilitate. I saw some other stuff with Dyson this offseason. I'm really just responding to a lot of the film and footage that has been released. Man, look, I need to see Dyson's handle improve. I need to see Dyson in the layup drills. I need to see Dyson. I need to see Dyson doing guard-like things. Even though I think he's a wing, I'm pretty sure the team is committed to him being a guard. So I need to see him doing some guard-like things for the people who argue that, oh, he's a point guard. I'm like, he don't got no point guard skills. So I would love to see him this offseason, improving his handle, improving his finishing ability, playing some one-on-one, you know what I'm saying? Just doing things that kind of will add to his offensive arsenal as well. And, I think defensively, we know what Dyson is. Defensively, we know what he is. We know what he is on the boards. It's everywhere else that there's a question mark, and that's kind of scary. As far as Herb, I would like to see Herb's rebounding improve, his steadiness. You know what I'm saying? Just being consistent offensively. I would like to see him get the opportunity to facilitate more. That's something we'll probably hear about as, the guys enter camp, or, they do some of their own workouts with their teammates. But as far as the FIBA stuff and stuff that I've seen, I don't put any stock in any of that. As far as CJ, we haven't seen too much of CJ this offseason, but CJ got to come into camp in shape this year. Last year, he wasn't in shape, and I'm not sure that his hand injury was kind of like a freak injury. So was his shoulder, I guess. But, when your body is vulnerable, I guess it leaves it more open to injuries of those sorts. So he also dealt with COVID and stuff like that. I would just really like to see CJ come into camp in shape. He committed greatly to the defensive end of the ball last season. I would like to see that continue. I would like to see him working on his facilitating, things of that nature. Offensively, we know what CJ is. CJ is a gunner. CJ is a scorer. He's a hooper. So we know what he's going to bring to you from the scoring aspect. Nothing I would really like to see him do aside from work on his ability to facilitate, specifically for that second unit, because I think that's when he'll have the ball in his hand the most, when he's running the second unit sometimes. As far as Brandon, I put no stock into anything that's happening with FIBA. FIBA might as well be like some form of the All-Star game. I don't really, I don't put any stock into it whatsoever. I would like to see his three-point shooting made a point of emphasis, his pain tolerance, because I really don't know how to judge that. I don't even know if it's possible to judge, especially with Brandon, because you can see him kind of put on weight. You saw it the Zion injury year, when Zion didn't play due to the foot injury. And it didn't really seem still like Brandon was just playing through injuries and stuff like that. It seemed like it was still, a pain tolerance thing where a lot of games were missed. In the playoffs, he played through, I think, the finger, and I think he had come back from a hamstring, probably played through a hamstring a bit in the playoffs. But during the regular season, there was still a pain tolerance thing. So I would like to see that made another point of emphasis. I'm not even sure how you go about doing that. Maybe that's more mental than anything. One question I wanted to leave you guys with, because it's something I find very interesting. Should Kyra get the nod over Jose going into the season? And I say that because right now Kyra has no trade value, none whatsoever, right? He has the first, he's a first round pick. He has the first round pick's pedigree, and he's never really gotten a fair shot, right? I mean, I guess he kind of had a fair shot during, the Van Gundy year and the year when Tomas beat him out. I think he kind of had a bit of a fair shot. But if you're trying to, you got to make a decision on this guy, and you're thinking about moving him, or you're trying everything in your power to move him, do you at least give it one more shot just to see what you got before you put all your eggs into the Jose basket? He's bigger than Jose. He's faster than Jose. He's more explosive than Jose. He has more high potential to be a scorer than Jose. Do you give Kyra one last chance? And that's for y'all to answer. Me, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, this team hasn't really brought in any backcourt help that would make me like feel either way about moving Kyra. I do think that they need an upgrade over Jose. That's, I personally think that. And I don't know, man. Kyra having such low trade value, it's like, shit, you might as well keep him at this point. Like, no one, you can't give him away. So what do y'all think, man? Please, leave that in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification if you haven't already. I'm out. This podcast is sponsored by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Krewe Media, located at 918 Porter Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413 if you or someone you know has been involved in an accident, and be sure to mention we sent you. Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Krewe Media.